I'll be talking mostly about my experience and I'll be saying yes. Time to time I'll be demonstrating also. Okay, so I'll show some pictures now. I'll show some pictures. I'll share my screen first of all. I don't know, there are petty calls which comes nowadays, so I'm sorry for that, but yes. Okay. So can you see this? Quite a few of you must already be very much familiar with this particular GUI. How many of you, if you cannot switch on your mic, you can switch on this way also. Yeah, you can just put your messages in the chat box and I can read that. Okay, what is this? This front screen? Anyone? Yes, Scratch. Prema told right. Yes, it is Scratch. And yes, right now it is handling my Arduino board. Okay, so this is very interesting direction where Scratch can also do. So that I will be covering today. And another very important thing is this. Can you see this? What is this? Can you see this particular robot? It's a robot which is mostly used as a hobby competitions. Similar structures. This is one of the robot which I have seen at a badminton playing tournament, which was at a Robocon competition. That is a national level competition which is there. Okay, so this is from one of the glimpse, that particular glimpse I have shown. So this is starting from the hobby level clubs at BIT Mesra. They have made similar models and that is what is shown here. And these type of competitions are very, very commonly organized nowadays. And what I have seen that they don't end up well. Students from robotics clubs, they have made robots in school level. I'll show one more picture. Okay, what is this? This is from one of the science competition that I have gone there as a jury member, and what I have seen that this is from Bokaro Public School. It's a very small, not very small. It's a school at Bokaro, and they have demonstrated this particular at Jilla level robotics competition organized by DST Inspire scheme. Okay, so this is again a school level thing. So what I was surprised to see that these fellows, these school students were showing something which sometimes BTechs are not showing. Why this is happening? And what this fellow, if he doesn't qualify at good IIT and do engineering at anywhere else, and they will learn, they will end up where he has started at all already. Okay, this fellow, he has done to this extent of work, and when he ends up doing his BTech, he will end up there only. He will write this as his BTech project and he will get excellent marks even at BTech level. So you see, there is not much of growth that is done at the BTech level. Why? Because sometimes the school teach them well and it is not addressed properly during their BTech and they end up nowhere. Okay, and forget about research, what we do. See, this is what is this? Basically, I tell you, this is a biped robot which is lying here, which has so many Arduino boards. Arduino is basically a microcontroller board, and this person is donning an exoskeleton with potentiometer at the joints so that they take up the joint angles from that and they feed it to this particular biped robot. So you see the imagination extent what school students are nowadays doing. If you are doing your hobby project at BTech level, I would suggest everyone to go to some school level competition of robotics. Then you judge yourself whether you are doing right or wrong. You are expected much better now. Okay, so that is the problem. So school level are doing well, they are doing good job. So I appreciate that school teachers nowadays at COVID, during COVID time, I have seen school teachers are really working very hard, and they have made their videos better than we people are making it. Okay, so that is the weakness of technical teachers sometimes. I won't say everybody is that bad. Few of good videos are also there, but school teachers are really appreciable. The way they have been trained so far and the way they are performing, it is really excellent. So what I appreciate the teachers, I want those teachers to come up with these, train their students in a global way so that they come up and do better projects at BTech level. They should express their thoughts. They should tell these students, yes, beta, yes, this is the project that you have done and you are expected better at BTech. You don't end up there. You go something higher, and they should also show the paths to the higher level. Okay, that's all. With that they have done their job. And my message to school teachers and engineering teachers, they should bring up better than Arduino. Today I will be covering Arduino from very basic, not even at, it ends up at class 8, I tell you. It ends up at class 8 because the Scratch programming language syllabus is there in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Okay, so till that much class only Scratch programming is taught. Okay, so I'll extend Scratch programming language today to do some of the interfacing tasks with external environment. Arduino is definitely a tool which is a very badly used nowadays. I'll show you what exactly. So this is another project I tell you. This is a project where I have seen a school student again from the same competition. He has made a car with a sniffer over here. You see there is a sniffer. Okay, steering is fitted with a sniffer, and this is an alcohol bottle. Okay, if the driver is drunk, this sniffer will sense and alarm the driver, yes, you are drunk, you should not drive. And there is one more stuff there. There is a goggle with a blink sensor over here. Goggle with a sensor here which checks the blink rate of the driver. Depending on the blink rate, he can judge whether that fellow is drowsy or not. Okay, so it also alarms, now you are drowsy. Okay, you are drowsy, maybe you are drunk based on the alcohol sensor. And finally, it will alarm the driver, and sometimes it can stop the vehicle also. So this is the thinking of a BTech student, you imagine. Not BTech, school students. Okay, so this is amazing. This is amazing, really. So this is what is a BTech, not even a BTech project I have seen quite a lot of time. Okay, and these are the school student project. And there are many such projects. I won't talk much more. I'll directly jump to my point. Yes, now you have to grow up. BTech students should grow up. They should keep doing their stuff, but they should learn new things. You have ended there with Arduino board. Now you have to come up better than that. Okay. And for my message towards the school teachers, yes, they have to make things like this. Where do we need robotics? Robotics is not required to play a guitar. I have seen projects that play guitar. I'll show one picture. Yes, this one. This is our industrial robot playing a guitar. Can you imagine a student using 25 lakhs industrial robot and playing a guitar? Yeah, India is not that rich, dear. So you have to come up again and start thinking which this robot can do and learn this robot to an extent when this robot can do industrial stuff. So you know what is my message today? This robotics teaching should be classified well. This is for pre-primary level or primary level, secondary level robotics. Till schooling, you have to finish off with your Arduino and those things, and that is not robotics, that is still electronics most of the time. And you need not to play guitar and those stuff when you actually come to engineering college. Okay, you are expected to do things much more professionally. Don't use jumper wires. What are jumper wires? I'll show some pictures. Few of you know it already and you are obsessed with that. These are jumper wires. I'll be using it today, but make it sure that you don't need to use it even at your BTech level. So these are the jumper wires. These are the culprit for most of the problems that a student encounter while they do BTech projects. These are very, very unreliable stuffs. Okay, what you should do, you should see this is one of the model when they do when they come to BTech level. So many sellotapes. So take a pledge today that don't use sellotapes, don't use double-sided tapes, right? Electrical tapes, jumper wires, get rid of all this when you come to BTech level. So that is the pledge I want you all to take so that you do things much more professionally at BTech level. Okay, don't do what school kids are doing. So this is one of the stuff and similar thing that I could see here. So many tapes, another robot, triangular robot. Yes, it is addressing quite complex problem of omni wheel or mechanism wheel over here. But yes, things are professional, but approach is not professional. So you have to look over your approach again and improve it over there. So what you should do, you should use things like this. These are the professional connectors which industrial guys are doing. This is industrial connector which is fitted in DIN rail, right? And then these are wire wraps, spiral wire wraps. Okay, this is to lash your wire well. Okay, so these are some of the tips that you have to take up. Use professional connectors like this. Okay, and you have shrinkable tapes also. Don't use cello tapes. Shrinkable tapes are much better to seal your wires well without risk of getting it cut out during your projects. Okay, so these are some of the messages I think. So I'll begin with Arduino. I hope most of you have got my message, what you are expected to do, what I am trying to tell you, that robotics should be classified well, and finally you have to come up with actual robotics that students are expected at BTech level. So here I begin with CBSE teachers. So I would request all CBSE teachers here or any school teachers over here who have joined this session to raise up their hand and come up with their queries as and when necessary. And can I see some ping from my teachers, school teachers over here? Anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Swaraj Das, yes, that is one. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yes,
because based on your feedback, I'll be following up with my talk to address you all. So it is very important that I should see your face with a big smile. Yes, so that I address you all, your problems, why robotics and how robotics at school level. Okay. So I am at IIT. I have seen very good students from KV and many other schools, but they are trained well. They are not doing well at BTech now because they have not been told by you guys, you have done your job well. Finally, maybe we failed to switch off that they ended up again at Arduino level. Okay, so today my talk will be mostly towards the primary school level where other ways you can handle robotics. Okay, so maybe you all are familiar with Scratch programming language. So I'll do once more that Scratch programming language. So you know this environment, what I am showing you all. This is quite clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, nice. So what you could see here is and you could pin my video also. I have switched on my video also, and parallelly I am sharing my screen. So switch them properly well so that you see things better. So first let me get the feedback. Yes, you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see this also? The video?
Yes, sir.
Both,
Maybe
sir,
it
both.
is little smaller.
We can see both.
I'll try to make it bigger also if you want. So, but that is just to show, yes, it is working, but most of the things will be happening on the screen. Okay. So apart from standard Scratch environment, this is little different. How it is different? It can handle this board, which is known as Arduino board. Physically, you could see it here. You could see it here. You have seen this one? This is a board which is connected to my PC, right? So that is also shown here, and it is blinking one LED here. And how that is happening, I'll tell you. A normal Scratch cannot handle Arduino boards. So what type of Scratch is necessary to make this happen? I'll show you one website that deals with similar stuff. Okay, it is known as S4A. S4A. Can you see my screen? Yes, it is S4A. It is known as Scratch for Arduino. Okay, you see the first link that has popped up. Yes, this is s4a.catalog, cat file. Okay, so then you can see there is a downloads here. Go to that, download and install. This is a Windows version which is downloading here. Okay, so what that contains basically is, if I go to my download, I see S4A is downloaded now. Okay, I unzip this, it comes here. And what is this? This is S4A environment. Okay, you just double click it, it installs to your PC. Okay, install that, that is done. That is done. That is one part of the job. Okay, and then what it contains a folder called S4A firmware. Okay, you need not to do anything over here. Okay, you assume you don't know anything, and even I assume so. You just double click the firmware over here, connect a board which is not more than 500 rupees nowadays. I have seen at 300 rupees also it is available, and with Atal Tinkering Lab, it is available in your lab in quantity. I know that. I have seen quite a lot of schools now. Okay, so this is nothing. Just open this, connect your USB. You see, this is the USB cable connected to my Arduino board, right? So this is the Arduino board which is connected. So go to Sketch. This is the Sketch which was there in Arduino S4A. Okay, go to Tools, select your COM port where it is showing Arduino Uno. Okay, this is the COM port where it is connected. And go to Boards and select this. If required, you can record my session, no problem. Okay, but those help files are given in S4A website, these help files. So go to Arduino Uno. Okay, done. Okay, so you have selected the board, you have selected the port also, how it is connected. Okay, you have selected the port and done. You have opened the file, just press this button. It downloads to your Arduino board and done with Arduino environment. You don't need to do any programming with that. You don't need to know C programming, because now I am addressing the students who are not familiar with C language. Okay, this is C language, so don't need to go through that. Simply close it. Done. Okay, so your firmware is already there in it. So with that homework, you can now connect your Arduino board. So as soon as you run your S4A environment, okay, I have installed this on my PC. I'll run it now. So here you see S4A has come. Run this one. Okay, it is searching for the board. Okay, it has connected with my board. Done. Okay, now whatever program you will do over here in this workspace, can interface with your Arduino board, which is physically connected to your stuff. How it is connected? This Arduino board has a firmware which you have just now copied to your, downloaded to your Arduino. Done. So no more programming at C language. So this is for school teachers who have already taught Scratch programming in 5th, 6th, 7th school students. So this is not a robotics. This is simply building up logic levels, getting them familiar with microcontroller board, how input and output can be connected to switches, LEDs, various IOs like servo motor, potentiometer, various inputs. Okay, and handle those stuff. That's all. No programming at this level. They have to move on with the programming language they are already familiar with. That is Scratch. I assume it is Scratch. Scratch is a MIT Media Lab development, which is very, very popular. It is already there in school syllabuses. Okay, I assume it is, most of you know it. So it can just, you can drag drop some of the tools from here and you can create things. So I'll just start with making a small programming now, how you can handle a typical LED. How you can handle a typical LED. Okay, with that. So I'll just rig up my stuff. So far, if you have any query, you can come to this. You can post in your chat box. Time to time, you can put your feedback here. Any query? Am I going smoothly? I am getting addressed properly to you all. Any problem? Anyone?
No, sir.
No problem or not getting? Anyway, so what I'll do now, I'll just pick up a small example. Where I'll connect my Arduino board using Scratch and I'll try to blink my LED and how that logic can be built. I'll just show you. Okay, so what is this? This particular motion thing connects with different IOs of your board. There are many types of input and output. One of them is known as digital input and output. That is nothing but a high signal, means 5 volt. It is sometimes known as true, okay, or 1. So binary 1, logically true, physically 5 volt, programmatically it is known as high sometimes, or 1. Okay, so these are different ways of saying that it is at a logic level 1, okay, or high. Okay, and then counter to that, there is another thing which is known as a false, 0, ground, or 0 volt. This is all having the same meaning. So if you see you have written a 0 to a pin, that means it will give a physical 0 volt. Which model is not visible, please? Okay, I'll try to bring the camera here.
Scratch. Yeah, it's loading, sir.
Okay, this GUI is visible now. This particular Scratch screen is visible. Okay.
Yes, sir. Only blank screen of Scratch.
Okay, time to time, I'll try to, okay, because I'll be building the logic here, I'll show you my screen camera also. Camera will not run. Just a sec, I'll disconnect my camera now. I'll switch off my video for a moment. Okay, I'll show video in a different way. Yes. Now you could see the camera.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, so if required, I'll just switch this to this screen and this screen. Clear? Okay, so what
Yes.
you have seen now, how this can be rigged. Let me see if I have a spare Arduino board. Just a sec, you just keep watching this one. Okay, so what I have done now, I have a spare Arduino board. I'll just explain what it contains most of the time. But today in afternoon session, they will discuss more in detail. But I see it is better to cover through scratch at pre-primary or school level rather than using C language. Okay, so they will be covering, I think, beyond class 8 or 9th student, they should be dealt with, they should be dealing with. And I am addressing mostly school level below class 8. Okay, that doesn't mean senior students don't do this way. Okay, so what it is, this is a typical Arduino board. You see there are many IOs. There are many IOs over here. These are input and output pins where you can simply plug in your wire from here. Okay, these wires. Okay, so you can plug wire. This connects with various input and output. Is it clearly visible? If you have one of your own, you can see more. Okay, so these are different IOs which are there. This is the place where your USB cable is connected. This one is connected. Okay, and then you have actual microcontroller which is sitting here. So the idea, this is not an Arduino board. The Arduino is the company who is making different types of board. Uno is one of them. This is known as Uno. And you have Mega board also. You have various other board. Okay, so Arduino is just a Maruti Swift. So Maruti is the company, Swift is a make of that. And actually there is engine sitting over here. Okay, so what is the engine over here? This is Atmel microcontroller, which is here. Okay, when you say you are programming, you are not programming Arduino. You are programming a microcontroller, which is known as a Arduino Atmega 328. Atmel is Mega is the series name of Atmel, and 328 is the actual chip which contains 32K of memory. That is the program space, and 8 is the series name. So that is a nomenclature. The way you name your organic or inorganic compounds, same way there are naming sequence for this. Okay, so don't call it an Arduino board. When you teach to your students, don't tell them you are programming Arduino, you are programming a microcontroller. And which microcontroller? It is Atmel microcontroller. Okay, Atmel is again a company name, so you can call it more specifically Atmega 328. If it is Arduino Mega board has Atmega 2560 board. It has 256K of memory for program. It has more number of IO, little lengthier board. Okay, so done. So this is what is all about these type of board. So you can connect different wires here. I have connected a few. I'll show you some of the circuit. I'll share one of the website where you can get all different small circuits which I am discussing today. Microprocessor is still very different. This is microcontroller. So microprocessor is a subset of microcontroller. So a microcontroller with different other peripherals are known as microcontroller. Okay, so microprocessor is a smaller picture of it. Microcontroller is a bigger one. Okay, it contains many other peripherals apart from just the flash and the logic. Okay, so this is not a place where we can discuss difference between microcontroller or a processor. I want to cover to a school level again, so that can be covered mostly by some other session, or you can mail me specifically for this. Okay, so today I am here to express my feelings towards school CBSE teachers. Okay, that is the motive of today, my lecture. Okay, so I'll stick to that. If you enjoy it, is fine. If you really enjoy programming with such a fundamental way you can do microcontrollers, you will really appreciate how it is very, very useful even for school kids. Okay, so I'll continue with that. Okay, so what I have done here again, I have connected few wires. Okay, so how I have done it? So I'll come back to this. Okay, as soon as this board is connected with Scratch environment, it starts showing different input and output here. Okay, so how I'll make it, you just follow me what I am doing. So I'll just drag one of the block from the control section. Okay, so when clicked, this is a typical way how you start any of your program. As soon as you click is to restart. So once when clicked, or you can also choose when space bar is pressed or different key is pressed. Okay, so I won't use this one. I'll just press any click should work. Okay, so when clicked, what I want it to do, I'll just go a small forever loop. A small forever loop. This is an infinite loop which I am connecting here. So as soon as I click, infinite loop has started. And what this loop will do now, it will do some sort of IO connection. So where are all the IO connections sitting? It is in the motion. Okay. What I'll do, I'll connect digital here. Okay. So pin number, I think pin number 10, I have connected to my LED over here. Okay. If you will see that, you have different pins which are numbered here. You see the numbering which is written over here. Numbers are written over here. Okay. These are the numbers. So you see pin number 10 is somewhere over here. If you see this way, as it is there. So pin number 10 is somewhere over here. And I have connected pin number 10 to my breadboard and finally to my LED. Okay, as because LED cannot take 5 volt, that is logically high signal, I have connected a small resistance in series. Okay, a small resistance which is here. Okay, so this is a resistance. So wire output from pin number 10 comes through a resistance to my LED, and ground pin of that is connected to ground pin. So there is a ground pin. So you have a ground pin, you have pin out over here, you have resistance, and that's it. Okay, so what you have output pin 10 connected in series with a LED, and finally it is grounded. That's all, finished. Okay, that's all is the smaller circuit that I can build using Scratch, and that is what I'll try to blink this LED now. Okay, so this is connected to pin number 10. So I'll connect pin number 10, done. Okay, then I'll do some logical wait for few seconds. Okay, I'll wait for 0.5 seconds here. Okay, and then I will digitally, I'll switch it off for pin number 10 is off, and then again I will wait for few seconds, that is 0.5 seconds. Done. So what I have done, I have, as soon as I click, an infinite loop will do what? It will switch on pin number 10, wait for 0.5 seconds, switch it off, pin number 10, wait for another 0.5 second, and do to repeat this. Keep on repeating this. That's all. So what this will do, in a second, it will blink it once for 0.5 seconds. Right? So I think this should work. Okay, I'll just click this one and see what happens. So this red LED which was fitted here, this one is glowing. You see this one?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So now you know how Scratch, that is considered as a logic programmer only so far, and it is never taught that yes, it can handle external world things also. Okay, it is never taught in the schools. So you have to make that kids think, yes, PC can be interfaced with a microcontroller and that can do some physical stuff. That is a realization at the school level that they should have. What is the outcome of this particular learning in this case? They have learned how to handle a small logic, that they are good at it. They are better than we teachers. Okay, so don't underestimate that. To समझेगा कि नहीं क्या होगा. Okay, don't worry about that. They are better than that. Okay, so they have been doing this programming quite well, and they are now bored with this programming because there is no outcome of this programming. Finally, they cannot build a career with Scratch. Okay, so they end up then and there, and they have seen external world. They have been watching TV, they have been watching various YouTube videos nowadays. So that is the reason they get bored very fast, and they don't appreciate the power of Scratch programming, and they end up then and there. Okay, and then they don't progress. So what you should do now, take up an Arduino board, that is a physical board, connect with their Scratch, make them do something very physical, make them run a motor, they should do something else. Okay, so by default, yes, you are right. Scratch programming is also there in Raspberry Pi. By default, it is a version 2. Okay, and with a add-on, you can make Raspberry Pi IO also to be handled with Scratch. Okay, there is a link for that. If you can mail me, I'll tell you how that also can be done. Okay, even Raspberry Pi Scratch can handle, but I would suggest for kids, no, because they are at a school level, what happens? It is very expensive tool. Raspberry Pi comes in some 3,000 or something with different other stuff. It is very expensive. Don't go to that expensive stuff now. It is a school. Go with something below 500. Okay, so you can get all the stuff which I have shown in 500, including the board. And Scratch they already have in their PC. Okay, sure. So what happens? So this is all about I/O interface, input and output handling using a simple Scratch environment that you have done just now. So this is a wonderful demonstration and taking your student to a higher level. They don't get bored, and finally they can do multiple stuff till the time they reach class 8 and professionally start doing same stuff. Today afternoon you have Arduino session. I am sure they will be teaching using C language. I think that should also end up somewhere, because that also is not an end. Okay, and Arduino is not a product. Arduino is for school learning. Don't make your BTech projects with Arduino. Don't make your MTech projects and PhD with Arduino. So you don't say that you can teach robotics with Arduino. Okay, that is simple electronics handling. This is for introduction purposes. So leave it to school. Okay. So what to do at BTech, I'll tell you later. But in today's, Arduino is only for school teachers. Okay. With Scratch, I have extended its capability to do some IOs so that the students, school kids can learn something. Okay. Okay, then. So this project I'll close and I'll start something new now. So I'll delete everything here. Okay, I'll start with a new project now. So my second project will be on handling a switch. Handling a switch, if you are okay with that. How that can be done? Okay, I hope my switch today morning some wire came up. Hope it works, but I'll try my best. Okay, again you start handling a switch and blink this LED. Can you do it? Yes. Here we start. Just follow me one by one. If you have a scratch opened up in your own environment somewhere in your PC, you can always try running that also with me. Okay, so when clicked, again I begin with the same way. When clicked, okay, again I picked up a infinite loop forever. Then and then I want to do some logical decision to be done. Okay, logical decision which is to be done. Some if then else. If switch is pressed, glow the light. If switch is released, switch off the light. That means I have to do some if then else. So I have inserted a if and else block here. If switch pressed, do something which is here, else do something which is here. Okay. So what I'll do now, I'll drag a operator. Operator is to evaluate some event. Okay. So I'll put this if something is equal to something, do this. So these are some of the operators, that is evaluators. So operator you find over here in green block. Okay. And then you go back to your condition. Now I want to see the input. Okay. So some sort of sensor should come. Okay. So, or you can have a sensor with a physical button on your keyboard. That also is equally well. But I want to do something with physical thing, that is dark blue one. It is here. Okay. So sensor is here. I dragged it to a small window over here. You see this is highlighted as soon as I bring it here. Done. So I am sensing at digital pin 2. If it is pressed, so this should be written as true. T-R-U-E. Done. Okay. If sensor digital 2 is pressed is equal to true, this condition is operated, else this condition is operated. So this is all which you have to do. Now I have directly to insert what? Digital pin number 10 is on, else digital pin number 10 is off. Done. So this is what is a small logic which I have built now. Okay. So what it is doing, as soon as you click, infinite loop will run. If digital 2 pin is pressed, is true, digital 10 pin is on, else digital 10 pin is off. 10 is the place where I have fitted the LED. 2 is the place where I have fitted the switch. Okay, 2 and 3. So there are different physical pins. I have already connected it for you. And mind it, switches, any wire floating in the air is normally neither high nor low. It is floating wire, so its logic is not well. Okay. So what you can do, you can either connect it to ground permanently using a high resistance so that it is tied to the ground and logic level is 0, and switches should connect it to high, that is 5 volt. That is known as pull down way. Normally it is connected to ground through a resistance. Switch connects it to high. That is one way of handling a switch. Another way alternately could be, normally it is connected to 5 volt through a high resistance and switch connects it to ground. That is pull up way. Okay, it is known as a pull up way. So I have connected it in a similar way. Here I have normally connected the wire to, I'll show my video here now. Okay, normally my switch is connected to this. This is the input and this through a high resistance, it is connected to a high value. This is 5 volt. Yellow wire is 5 volt, 5 volt coming over here. So it is pulled up. So switch will connect it to the ground. Okay. So let me execute this now. Okay, it should work. Let me just see if it works because this wire has come out. Where is it connected? Digital 13. 13? Okay. Digital 2 or 3, I will have to connect the one. I'll change this one to digital 2 or 3. Okay. Yeah. This one. Just a sec, I am just rigging up the wire and testing if it is working. I'll show you. Okay, so this is the way you connect your wire and connect to your switches. Hopefully, this should work, but it is this wire has come out now. So unfortunately, no problem. So this is the circuit. I'll share the circuit also to you all, how it can be handled with the switch. For the time being, what I'll do, I'll just take out this switch permanently. Nothing to worry. Okay, what I'll do, I'll handle the same logic using a keyboard now. Okay, so what changes you have to do now? Instead of having a sensor connected here, I have removed this. So what I'll do now, I'll be sensing using some sort of keyboard touch. Okay. Just a sec. Yes. So I'll put this here. Okay. So I am putting this one here. So as soon as space bar is pressed, okay, digital will be high or it will be off. I think this should be quite easy and doable as my switch is not working. Okay, so this is executed. So you see this, what I am doing, I am pressing my space bar and my LED is glowing. Okay. So what I am doing, I am just pressing my, just a sec. This video, I don't know if you are able to see my video also together. Yes. So I am pressing my space bar and this is glowing. Okay. If I leave my space bar, it switches off. Okay. So this is a keyboard control now. Instead of switch, I have connected with the keyboard and it is working. You see this one? So this is a switch operation, a logical operation which is built now and how it is handled. Okay. So you have got the idea how The digital switching can be done. A logic input can switch on your. So instead of LED, you can have a motor also. LED is just way of simply showing it how logic works. But yes, it works with a motor also. Same logic, similar logic. Okay. So now I'll go to another demonstration. I'll delete everything now. Make my workspace very clear. Okay, what I'll do now, I'll take off everything. My LED. Okay. Okay. Done. So what is remaining on the board is already the voltage and ground is connected to my breadboard. Done. Okay. What I'll do now, I'll show you how to take an analog input. Okay. How to take an analog input now. Now, what is analog? Anyone? What is analog?
Sir, analog input is in the form of continuous waveform inputs.
Yes, very good. So what it does basically, it's a continuous change of voltages in this case, where you can expect to see some value directly from the board. Okay, it comes to the board as a value between 0 to 1024. That is a 10-bit analog value which you can see in Scratch also. Okay. So that is what you can see. So I'll just use that one now. Okay. So how that can be done? There is a way where you can again start doing this. When clicked, go to forever. These two are common blocks which I'll be using. Now over here I'll do analog input. Analog input. Okay. So this is what? This is simply analog input at pin number 9, value 255. Okay, it assumes that analog value will vary from 0 to 255. What I'll do, I'll again have an equator over here. Because it comes from 0 to 1024, I want my displayer can only display from 0 to 255. I'll divide the value to by 4. Okay, so that it ranges from 0 to 255. Okay, so I'll simply have a divisor over here inside and value from the sensor where is it? Value of sensor. Okay, value of sensor analog 0 by 4. Done. Okay, so when clicked, it will continuously take in the value from the sensor and divide it by 4 and display it over here. Okay, should be doable, I think. Should I execute it now? Okay, let me see what happens. And how to rig up the wire first of all. Okay, I have a potentiometer over here. What it has 3 wires. First is, this is ground. Okay, this is ground. This is normally connected to a voltage plus volt. So this is plus 5 volt. This is ground. So what is this? This is known as a signal. And how it will vary? It will vary from ground to plus 5 volt. Ground to plus 5 volt. And that depends on basically the potentiometer angle. Okay, potentiometer angle. When it is connected to this side, it gives me this voltage. When it is connected to other side, it gives me this voltage. Anything in between will have some intermediate value. Okay, so I'll just take out everything now. Okay, remove the breadboard. This can be done cleanly on this board. What I'll do, I'll connect this to plus 5 volt over here, plus 5 volt, done. And I'll connect this to a ground pin over here, done. Okay, plus 5 volt and ground, and this goes to analog 0, A0. It is very nearby. Okay, I have connected all the wires now, and simply I can change the voltage going into my board. So this is analog input example. Okay, so I'll just start this scratch program now. Okay, so you see the value which is coming here. Okay, so you see it goes to 1023. So it starts from 0, goes maximum to 1023. So it is 10-bit value. 2 to the power 10 is 1024. That means if you start from 0, it goes to 1023. Okay, so you see you are able to get the value 0 to 1023, right? So this is analog value. You can directly see what is happening over here. You can change the, you can decide some logic based on that. Okay, so this is 0 to 1023. Quite simple, doable. Okay, so this is the analog input case which is handled over here. Okay, now I'll go to a case when I want my LED to glow in a different way. That means again I'll just put this one, connect the, okay, I'll put this one, I'll connect the ground wire to a ground line, plus 5 volt, to a plus 5 volt line, and one resistance to make my LED feel comfortable, because that cannot see a higher voltage. I want to show you how analog output can be done. Okay, so basically I'll be adjusting the brightness of my LED based on the input. Okay, so output will come out from this. Okay, so this will go to my output. I'll see which pin to connect. Okay, so what I have done, I have simply connected the ground wire to resistance input. Through this resistance, it goes to LED negative. Positive is connected to one of the pins. Okay, so that is how it is connected. Done. So this should be able to control the brightness of my LED. Okay, so here I go how I'll do it. Okay, so I'll start again here. I'll delete everything from here. What I'll do, again I'll start with when clicked. I'll do some forever loop. Okay, and I'll do motion, that is analog, where is analog? Analog to pin number 9, a value. Pin number 9, I'll put a value of 255. Then again control, I'll wait for few seconds. Okay, I'll make it wait for 0.2 seconds. Right, done. And again I'll go to analog That is my analog pin number 9. This time I'll put it a lower value, half the initial value. So let me do it 128 or 27 equally okay. Done. And then again wait for a few seconds. .2 seconds. Right. And you keep doing this. Finally, I have a program which does similar stuff. Now you got it. I'll just directly open that, making it recursively so difficult. What I'll do, I'll just open one of my project. That is analog output one. I'll just drag it. You can drag it and you can put it here. Okay. So what I am doing here, click the board. Okay, click this. As soon as it is clicked, forever loop, what it is doing, analog to pin number 9, value 255, wait for 0.2 second, value 200, 0.2 second value. So I am gradually reducing value from maximum to 0 and again 0 to maximum and making it go forever. Okay. So I am connecting it to point number 9, pin number 9. I'll just start. You see what happens. I hope it is clear now. You see, it is gradually changing the brightness, no? Right. So this time, Deepavali, make sure your kids can do this at home. Right? You can decorate some mini lights, not through a Chinese lamp. Right? It's a nice idea, no? Just take a 300 rupees and encourage your kid to build up a mini light out of this scratch environment and your programming, right? So that is how you can motivate not to go for Chinese, not by just banning them, don't buy Chinese, right? So nice way of doing it. So buy a board instead of mini light this year, right? And encourage your kid to program using Scratch through Arduino and create this a small demonstration for your gods at home, right? You can do this. See how nice it looks. Nice. These are the ways you can encourage your kids. Very good. Okay. So this is one analog output example. So what all things you saw, you can take input. You can take input through a potentiometer, that is a variable voltage. You can bring output to a LED, which is a variable voltage. You can take a digital input. You can give out a digital value. Done. And finally, what I'll try to demonstrate, yes, they can do some physical stuff, that is moving an object. Okay, so finally, I'll show one of the stuff, which is a small motor which can rotate using that. Don't worry, I am not going to teach you H-bridge now, which is at a BTech level students can do. Not even I'll teach you how to use power amplifiers that BTechs are doing. I'll teach my school kids, school teachers. Yes, this can be handled using a small hobby servo motor. This type of motors are quite inexpensive and available nowadays through Atal scheme in their labs now. And this is very not more than 250 rupees, this one. Okay, these are a servo positioners used in a toy helicopters which they buy to control the radar angle. Right? Even steering gear of a remote cars, they use this stuff. Okay, so to turn the wheel angle so that the vehicle turns. Okay. So these are very interesting things, yes. So kids can do at home to make their own hobby car at home. Okay, so I'll try to demonstrate this very easily. Okay, that is controlling a servo motor using my small scratch environment. So I'll stop this one, so my light stops blinking. Done. I'll delete this whole of this. I'll create a new logic for servo motor, and that is even more simple with this. Okay. So what I am doing now, I'll remove everything, all the wires, remove LED, remove the resistance, remove the ground wire, remove the breadboard also, and this is all I need. Done. This servo motor can run at 5 volt, and this doesn't draw too much of current, so that it proves very much heavy for my USB port. USB port cannot supply to bigger servo motors, but for this it is quite good enough. So this can run directly from bigger servo motor, from smaller your USB port. Okay. If you buy a bigger one, or if you have a bigger one of this motor, right, what you can do, you can simply use a bigger motor with power supply. So what all wires does it have? It has 3 wires. One goes to your ground. Okay, one of them is to be connected to ground. Another one should be connected to power supply, that is 5 volt, right? And another one comes directly from the microcontroller. So this comes from the microcontroller, that gives you which angle to go. This is the power supply plus, this is power supply minus. Okay, these two can be connected to external power supply also. If you have a bigger motor, for a smaller motor, this can be connected to your Arduino board, which is taking current from your PC only. Okay, so 3 wire, that's all. So what I'll do, I'll just insert the wires in proper place now. So I'll put this one to ground. I'll insert this to ground. Done. And I'll insert the center one to VCC, that is supply voltage, that is 5 volt, and another one to my programmable pin. Okay, so I'll see that one, which one to connect later on, but that is connected to one of the pin which tells this motor where to go. Okay, so I'll just open up that particular environment now, which controls the servo motor. I'll just make a code rather. Okay, so I'll go back to my scratch environment and I'll start doing it. So when clicked, you start everything. Then I have some logic to build up. Okay, here you will learn about some logic also. Okay, motion. So you see there are various type of motors which can be connected. Okay, and okay, I am setting the value of X initially. X is basically my angle now. I am putting it as 90 degree. Okay, initially I want it to be at 90 degree, and then 0 to 180 it can rotate. Okay, so I'll again go back to my control loop, make this loop go forever. Done. And now I'll set the motion. Okay, so I'll put motor connected at pin number 8 to an angle. Okay, and what angle? What angle? Basically X position. So I'm dragging it here and making it X position. X is what? X is my angle. Okay. Forever, initially I am setting this angle to 90 degree. Forever motor connected at pin 8. So I'll just connect it to pin number 8. Done. Okay. what I have done, I have just changed the pin number to pin number 8. Okay. And pin number 8 to X, which is 90 degree, done. And then again, what I'll have to do, what I want, if I run this code, it will simply go to 90 degrees. You can see this one. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just program it further. Okay, it went to 90 degree as soon as I started. So 90 degree doesn't look like 90 degree. Actually, it is 90 degree difference here. Then it can, any place I take it, it comes back to 90 degrees. You see, it is coming to that home location. Okay, so this is how it can be programmed. So this is at 90 degree to say, and then you have 0 degree again, and you have 180 degree again at different location. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll change the value of X based on different clicks I do. So when some key is pressed, I select it as up arrow. What I'll do, I will change this X by some value. Change this X by 1. I will increase it by 1 degree. Okay. Then again, what I'll do, when I press down arrow, what I'll do again, change the value of X by -1. Done. So what this should do now, if I press up arrow, it increases the degree by 1 degree. When I press down arrow, it decreases the value by 1 degree. Right? So there are, this is a complex logic, not very complex though. Kids can do it better. So when click, program will start, set the value to 90 degree. If pin number 8, I have connected my motor, that takes the angle to X position. When you press up arrow, X changes by 1. When you press down arrow, X changes by -1. That means up arrow should make it move clockwise by 1 degree. Down arrow should make it move anti-clockwise by 1 degree. That's all. Okay. So here I go. I'll just start this. Okay. Okay. You can see the video, what is happening. Okay. So keyboard is not visible though. You can see this. Okay. These are up and down arrow. I don't know whether I can make it visible for you. So here is my keyboard. So what you see, if I press up arrow, oh, if video works, that Scratch environment doesn't work. It should be the front screen. So I'll just minimize my video. I hope you can see this video. I don't know whether both the tabs can go at the same time. What I'll do, I'll just, can you see the video? I don't know.
Sir.
Okay, so basically this program is making it go in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. What I can do, I can minimize this. Then probably you can see both. Okay, so I think now you can see both, na? Yes. Okay, so now I am pressing the key and you see motor moving next to me. Right? If you press downward key, it is moving in other direction. So this is how a steering gear is controlled in a toy car. A radar is controlled in a helicopter which they buy as a toy. Right? So your Scratch programming is now doing motor control as well. That is physical motion. You have controlled IOs. You have taken various sensor values. Right? Now you are able to turn the motor. What's it? What next you want? Now you have enough tools to make various other things. Right? Okay. Okay, that's all from my side. I think I am quite clear what the message I wanted to give so far is now I am preparing my kids to go till class 8, start doing Arduino using C, right? What will be taught next in your following sessions after me by some Arduino professionals, okay? And then that also should end up at the school level at BTech. Don't use Arduino, do something better. That is directly using the microcontroller board, making something very professional. I'll share my channel, YouTube channel also, okay, where you can see different stuffs, what we people do at BTech and all. I'll stop sharing my video also. Focus on me. Okay, that's all. Okay, hello everyone. So you see my face now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do I look? Good?
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing my screen also.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. And participants, if you have any question from the sir, you can ask.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning, sir. Myself, Akash.
Yes, Akash, please go ahead and tell.
Sir, I want to know about that the board for using the BTech level.
See, you don't use a board, right?
Okay.
So you start from a scratch, not this is scratch programming, okay? Start
Okay.
from scratch, pick up the controller directly, right?
Right, right.
And make your own board, right? At least you start from standard this type of breadboard. You plug in your controller here, right?
Okay.
Connect the wires using different IOs. Connect to power supply. Connect to crystals. Okay,
Okay, sir.
right? Make the board yourself. If you are not, you can always mail me. There are hundreds of forums which exist, so that I would encourage at BTech to make your own boards, so that you can make a product, right? If you
Okay.
buy an Arduino, you cannot put it in a washing machine that you are going to make.
Right, sir.
Am I correct? You cannot fit it to an AC or a fridge or anything, right? Any domestic equipment. You don't see Arduino. They directly use the controller board. They use its IO to get things done. And don't program using Arduino compiler. Now you should use standard C compiler, right?
Okay,
Which
sir.
is more powerful. So you make your own board, you make your own C code, which is more powerful, so that you can handle things much better, and finally you can make professional things instead of making toys. I'll share my YouTube video to you all at the chat session, so that you can look at my channel and appreciate what we all do, right?
Sir, actually, I've already used this board, Arduino board. I've
Okay.
already used it. I already use it,
Okay,
but I know about the higher version. for that.
Yes, you can. Might have used Arduino Mega, Arduino Duo for 32-bit, but finally it is Arduino only. Okay.
Actually,
Uh,
we have already used the Arduino Uno Nano Node MCU also, but I want to know about the higher version for the BTech levels also.
See, you can go to 32-bit, that is Raspberry Pi.
Yes, I know that Raspberry Pi.
Yes, yes. So what happens even with that, very much limitations you have. That's a
Okay.
32-bit, you have to stick to some programming, but that
Okay.
will give you a little higher end.
Okay, sir.
Little higher end. I think you can make your projects using Raspberry Pi, that is fine. But that
Okay.
also you cannot deploy with your product.
Okay,
If
sir.
you have to make your product, it is better you make your own board and try to get things done.
Right, sir.
Make your own board, no? Why do you want to pick up somebody's board?
Okay, okay.
Got it?
Right, sir. So, sir, can you tell me the microcontroller name for making my own board?
You have picked up your Arduino Uno. Which microcontroller did it had?
So it's a 8 mega 32-bit.
ATmega 32 नहीं है उसमें ATmega 328 है.
Sorry,
Okay.
328. 328.
देखो ये हो जाता है problem. If you have worked with microcontroller, you can name the microcontroller at least. Don't give me the name of a brand. Na? Arduino is not a board, right?
Right.
It is a brand name. So
Okay.
we know क्या बोलते हैं? We don't call washing powder, we call it surf.
Okay.
Right? Stop doing that.
Right, sir.
Right? Don't tell you are programming Arduino. You are programming ATmega 328.
8 mega
You can
328.
program a PIC. You can program a Freescale board, something.
Right, sir.
Right? Start naming the device by its device name, not as its brand name.
Okay, sir.
Okay? That is
Right.
the first discipline that BTech students should pick up.
Okay.
So immediately they'll say, sir, Arduino use किया sir. और guides भी उसमें बहुत अच्छा marks नहीं देते हैं. Okay, Arduino, तब तो plenty of forums are there to do things. He must have got one of them. Right? They give poor marks because of Arduino. You tell them, yes, I have programmed with ATmega 328 or ATmega 2560, and I have done using C language. I have implemented this filter, that filter. है ना? Programming किया है. Then they appreciate, yes, you know things from much deeper below.
Okay.
Right? So that is the way a product is deployed. You make your own board and make the product. That should be the intention of BTech.
Okay.
Right? There are many forums, infinite forums. Before Arduino, 5 years down the line, I see we were at a much better end. We were programming using C, using forums, using our colleagues, our friends. Nowadays, at least there are YouTube videos which are very readily available. You just Google out. It's in your fingertip. There are infinite. If you cannot find, you mail me.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Right, sir.
My email ID I have posted just now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, see my YouTube videos also. I think you will get the idea what we have done. Without Arduino, we have been doing it since long time.
Right, sir.
You try to make your own board, even if you are organizing a workshop.
Yes, sir.
You feel pride in making your own board and conducting a workshop.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can do it much easily.
Right,
I
sir.
tell
Right,
you,
sir.
I'll help you out. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
I think no more questions are there at the time. So thank you so much, Dr. Arun Dayananda, sir, for such a wonderful session. And I hope all the things are clear to all the participants and they are very benefited from the session. So thank you so much. And
Thanks.
now we are having a break of 30 minutes and we will join at 12 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.